Hello and welcome to my presentation on making effective videos for live online learning quickly. My name is Robert Kellner and I'm Professor of Physics at the Technical University of Applied Sciences in Rosenheim, Germany. I'm part of a larger team. We are in a project called High Rock and we are trying to improve the teaching and learning for more success for our students, especially in the STEM fields. We have been focusing on active learning so far for the past years now, and we are always trying to improve these methods and also to share them with our colleagues nationwide and internationally. We have built a couple of new rooms to promote these active learning activities. This is a concept called Scale Up, which is also very widely known in the United States. We have been using just-in-time teaching and peer instruction as teaching methods, and these rooms help us promote these activities. We are basing our activities on research and evidence, and we are always trying to improve our way of teaching and improve the learning for the students. During the pandemic, however, we had to close our facilities and we had to go online, as so many of us did. But as it turned out, since we were already using these methods, just-in-time teaching and peer instruction, we were very well suited for these kind of lectures. After the campus was open again, I tried to incorporate another principle, which is called High Flex, which also promotes active learning outside of the classroom. So there are some asynchronous online activities that try to replicate what we are doing in the classroom and to have the students more engaged when they are not able to be present in the classroom on campus. Of course, I produced a lot of videos in order to accomplish this and also to promote the activities we are doing with just-in-time teaching. And now the question is, and this is the first part of my presentation, how can we make these videos effective? Well, why are videos effective? Basically, it's because we are using the visual information that is transported via the medium video and also language, which is also transported either in text, so again, visual, or verbally by the presenter who's talking to the students. The combination of these two factors makes videos very effective for online learning and for learning in general. But there are some multimedia principles that should be considered when producing videos and that are enabling you to make more effective videos. I will go into the coherence principle, the signaling principle, contiguity, and personalization. Of course, there are many more, but I will focus on these four in this presentation. First of all, there's the coherence principle. Coherence means that you should remove all distractions. For example, if this was a presentation you would be giving either via Zoom or in a video, then you can see there's a lot of decoration, there's a lot of text here in the middle, and we have the title of the slide, which is also present. These are all things that in principle are not really necessary and that can cause distractions. So if you remove all these distractions, you're left with very simple and very few elements. This image here is incorporated in order to create an association for the student, and if you repeat these images, for example, in a script or in a text that you would give out to the students, then they can make the association of this image and the part in the video where we were using this image. Another principle which should be considered is signaling. If there is information, it is transported or it is conceived either visually or verbally. And you can use this to signal very important information in your talk, also visually and verbally. For example, if there is some information that you would like to highlight, you can do this in these two ways. You can point to what you're highlighting, you can make some animation or some graphics appear that is causing the attention to go to the information that you would like. And of course, you can also use the verbal cues and intonation to highlight the information. This is signaling. Another principle is contiguity. For example, if this were a slide that you would present and in this visual you would like to explain something about the brain. For example, here are certain areas of the brain and they are labeled with letters A, B, C and so on. The name of these areas is depicted below, and spatial contiguity tells us that this is not a very good way to convey the information. It is better to have the information that is here present in the text below the visual right where it belongs inside the visual. So keep the information that is relevant spatially close to each other, like in this example here. Now, the last principle, which I try to incorporate here in this video as well, is personalization. If you have a video where you show basically a screencast, where there is no person visible that is talking, it's just a voice coming from nowhere, then it sometimes is hard for the student to watch and to pay attention. It's even boring sometimes. When you have a static image all the time, this makes things boring. So my suggestion would be to go into the presentation, to be part of the presentation. This way you can also interact with what you are showing. And you can point to certain features in your visuals. You can highlight, you can signal. And of course, there are many more things, many more principles that you can consider when producing videos or giving live online lectures. If you are interested, I would recommend these two books by Richard Meyer, Multimedia Learning and the Handbook of Multimedia Learning, where you find a lot of useful information on this topic. But another thing is also very important when you produce videos. They have to be produced quickly. Let's take a look at how much time it takes to produce a typical video, for example, a 5-minute presentation or a 5-minute video where we would like to explain a concept. Creating a 5-minute video usually takes some preparation, maybe 1 to 2 hours, depending on how deeply you want to dive into the topic and how much there is already available. Then comes the recording time. 5 minutes at least, because the video takes 5 minutes, but more than often you will find yourself trying to redo some things. There was a mistake, or you just didn't know where to continue. So there will be a recording time which is significantly larger than these 5 minutes. It can be 1 hour. It can of course be also much more. Editing is then the part of the process where you can really put a lot of hours into, depending on how much graphics you would like to add in post-production, or maybe some animation or visuals or some color corrections, whatever. Trying to cut out the things that you had in addition in your recording. This takes a lot of time, and I found myself sometimes hours editing videos that only took a couple of minutes to record, or that should be just a couple of minutes long. So now what if you would treat the production of these videos as if they were live presentations? Well, in a live presentation, you have the same preparation time that is required, more or less, but the time it takes to give the presentation is just 5 minutes if you take a 5-minute presentation. There is no do-over, there are no retakes, it's just 5 minutes. And editing is none. You do not need to edit the live presentation once it's finished, because it's live. So this saves a lot of time. Now the question is, how can we do this? Or my proposal is, treat videos like if they were live online presentations and not like recorded videos that you would edit afterwards. The question is, how can we do this? Well, there is a lot of streaming software available right now that makes it possible to have various effects in your live session or when you're recording. For example, here, this is a video on YouTube where it is shown the presenter is in the video, the screen of the presenter is also visible in the video, some text with live content is overlaid in the video, and these are things that these live streaming softwares are made to do, and they are made to do that in a very pleasing and nice to watch fashion. So I compare the streaming software a little to PowerPoint. It's a little bit like PowerPoint, where you can have various different media formats. For example, a PowerPoint presentation. You can have images, you can have video, you can have a live video feed, and you can arrange this in your live image just like you would with images and text on a PowerPoint slide. Now, there are several ways to do this. The first, and the way I do it right now, is by using a green screen. If you have a green screen available, then you can use the software to add the effects in later. But the problem is you do not always have a green screen. So what do you do if you do not have a green screen? Well, sometimes you're in your office, but you can still use the software to produce certain effects. For example, you can do something like this, like a screencast. You can show your slides, and you have the video of yourself in some corner. You can choose which corner, you can choose the size, but as you can see, interaction with the content here is very limited by the size of my image here. Another way would be to turn these things around. So you could make a classic picture-in-picture. We have the slides here and me a little bit enlarged. The problem is you need a little more space for yourself, a little less space for the content. And as you can see, interaction with the content is a little bit difficult. But you can also make this in a way that these slides are actually transparent. So you can have a PowerPoint which is transparent and laid in front of you. This has the advantage that you can really interact with the visuals that you're showing. You can highlight certain points, certain features of the visuals you're showing. You can show formulas, and what you want to show is left to the imagination. You are not restricted to using stills. As I said, you could use PowerPoint presentations, and you can also incorporate animations in this recording. So this is a very interactive and a very neat way to present and interact with your content. And this makes the movie, the video, the live presentation, whatever you're giving, more engaging and less boring. There are several software you can use. For example, I use OBS, the Open Broadcaster software, which is free and which is available on most platforms. Thank you for your time, thank you for your interest and your patience, and I hope that I could give you some pointers or some inspiration to try these things out as well. I can only encourage you to just try it out and give it some time, and over time you will find yourself more comfortable with these methods. So thanks for watching and stay healthy.